Good morning, traders. Manny Cabrera from MDC Trading Academy with today's pre-market forecast for Wednesday, April the 10th. Let's look at our news reports for the day. We have our famous FOMC minutes today at 2 p.m., so be very careful around that time if you're still trading. Early in the morning, we have CPI information, and that's about all we have to worry about. So just remember, 2 p.m. FOMC these days seem to be a little tricky, particularly within the environment that we find ourselves today. What do I mean by that? Let's go quickly to our charts. We can see our daily chart here, which is our 30,000 foot view. Market continues to churn to the upside, but it's doing it very slowly, very deliberately. We've been talking about this for weeks. We're hitting a key area here at 28.98. Market's retracing a little bit. Remember, we spoke about it's going to be moving up to all-time highs, but it's going to do it in a very slow and deliberate way. Market can, if it desires to, retrace all the way back to the 20 SMA before it does a continuation. So don't be surprised if the market does that. But it doesn't have to do that. It can just take off from here, so on and so forth. Volume has been a little low. We had our first our first million contract day yesterday. It's been a long time since we've had one. We've been averaging a little bit over under a million. We're actually averaging million and 20. Our ATR is healthy at 24, but we like to see at least 1.1 million in reference to volume. That way we can see a little bit more movement. Movement is still tricky. Movement is very slow and a little bit grindy at times. You have to be very careful and look for deeper retracements in order to participate. Let's look here at our analysis chart. Our projection chart. And what we have here is, oops, that's the wrong chart. I apologize. Chart we're looking for here. Yeah, here we go. This is the chart that shows us where the market has been, where the market will be heading. This is what we use as projections going forward. Once again, we don't make trading decisions based on these areas here, but it helps us to understand and give us a much broader longer term view of what to expect. Remember, we had talked about this huge rectangle here. Market is broken. Is actually using an all-time high, a previous all-time high support right now, which is very interesting. But the sideways movement continues, just similar as we're having. Market's just running up, finding a support, heading down to a resistance, so on and so forth. And that's what we're having right here. Here's our moves. These are our projected points to the upside. Here are projected points to the downside. Market is holding really steady here at this particular price area here that we had established a few days ago. That's where the market's been holding, and it's finding support obviously up here. Here's where the market finds itself between these two areas. Market gets a little lower, but still, it's still finding support there, and that's what we have right now. So here's our areas that we have previously projected, where the market is using as given support, and obviously we have our resistance, another area here that we have projected. And obviously this area here we have projected before. There's no science or mystery to this. It's just understanding price action and movement, and we're able to establish and from this point forward start determining potential price areas. There's no mystery. It's very helpful though to have a bigger picture as you're trading. Remember, we're looking from our biggest picture to our smallest picture, and we're needing information from each section in order to determine decisions that we need to make moving forward. Let's look at our analysis chart. This is a chart closer to our trading chart. And as we see here, we find ourselves between the intraday high established yesterday and the intraday low established yesterday. So here this is the entire day here. Here's our high. Here's our low. Market bounces off the low, establishes a run to the upside. It bounces right off the intraday high. And that's what we find right now. So this is what we call a mixed day. Market can move either direction. The market can potentially run all the way back down to here to retest. Let me see if I find a support area anywhere for us to use. And in reference to here, yeah, the market can potentially use this area here as support. But the expectation here is market is going to retest. It's a market retest of this area here. See how the market does retest in this area. We don't have a north-south line till we get to this level here, meaning that the market can continue to go up even though it reaches this area. But if it breaks through that area, the potential area, the area that we're expecting the market to come and test is this area here. Again, it all depends on volume. It doesn't seem like we have any more volume today than we did yesterday. Let's look at the pre-market. Yeah, it doesn't look very promising today. But then again, just remember the deeper retracements Make sure you choose your battles correctly today and do not force this market. Thank you and have a great week.